When we're over 50, one of the biggest investing mistakes we can make is continuing to invest like we're 30. Because at some point, our goals change. And many people don't notice until the stakes are much higher. Hi, I'm Scott Mullet. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm sorry, that was a weak Elvis. Ugh. But welcome to the Wise Lane, where we focus on money, mindset, and modern living for the over 50 horde. Yep, we hoarders. Mhm. Now, younger folks, you're always welcome to. In the next several episodes, we're going to be focusing on money. Check out the green shirt. Now, more specifically, the focus of this series of episodes that we're going to be doing is investing over the age of 50. And this subject is near and dear to me, as before retiring, my career was in the investment management business. It gave me the ability to retire early and pursue other passions like spending time with my family, acting, and now the Wise Lane. So for most of our life, investing had one purpose, and that was to grow the number. Here we go. We're going to grow the number. Woo! But we watch it increase, decrease, stay the same. We compare it to the market. Hey, did I beat the Dow, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100? Woohoo! My friends, they made so much money in crypto. Why didn't I invest there too? Or how about them meme stocks? Let's go to the moon. Plus AI, it is so hot. Sizzle. What's the next big thing we can jump into? Jump. Now, these are all big time questions for investors, especially in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and maybe even early 50s. But as we get deeper into our 50s, something shifts. We're no longer just building wealth. We're either in the early, later, or current state of preparing to live off of our wealth. And that requires a different mindset. In your 20s, 30s, and 40s, volatility, yeah, it's annoying. But if you can write it out, it's almost harmless. We've got time. We've got job income. We can recover from whatever uppercut or right cross, that's a left cross, the right cross that volatility hits us with. After all, market drops, aren't they just buying opportunities? Because time is our greatest asset when we're younger investors. But time changes as we are in retirement, as well as when we near retirement. And investing without acknowledging that change can create stress and significant financial damage. We want neither of those. So as we roll into our 50s, I see investing becoming a balance between, of course, three things. It's always three on the Wise Lane. That's growth, protection, and income. So too much growth often means taking on more risk, which often creates anxiety from that volatility that comes with that extra risk. Now, too much safety might make us feel calm, but being too conservative in your investment will create inflation and purchasing power risk because the cost of living increases more than the value of your investments. So you're losing buying power. And too much chasing of income may often lead to bad decisions as we take on another kind of risk, default risk, or the risk of not getting our money back at all because we're investing in things that are too risky. So to me, as you age through the 50s, the goal is no longer maximizing returns. The goal becomes having investment stability with maybe a little bit of progress. A 25% drop in our investment portfolio at 30 years old, yeah, it hurts, but it feels a little more temporary. A 25% drop at 60 feels life-altering, and not because you're weaker, but because recovery time matters more in our later years. And that's called sequence risk. And you don't need complicated math to understand sequence risk. It's just that losses hurt more when withdrawals begin or as we approach when those withdrawals will need to start beginning. So here's an example. I had a friend, he had mapped out to retire in 2010. He had planned some wonderful trips with his wife in 2011 and 2012, and they were in the process of selling their house to downsize. But then the stock market and real estate market crashed in 2008. And unfortunately, he had not adjusted his investment portfolio. So he was posed with too much risk. Now, thankfully, he didn't panic sell, and he was able to continue working. His employer allowed him to continue working for another few years. So in his case, the biggest damage was really he had to delay retirement about 3.5 to 4 years. It could have been much worse, though. For aging investors, time becomes the key factor. Again, using the 2008 downturn as an example, it took almost 5.5 years for the S&P 500 to retrace back to its previous high. The high was October of 2007, and it took until March 2013 to get back there. And yes, it did fully recover. And look where we are now. It's 4 times higher in February 2026 than it was in March 2013. And if you didn't have to make any withdrawals, hey, that's no problem. No harm, no foul. But if you had to make withdrawals on the way down, or even as it was slowly kind of making its way back up in that 5.5 years, you likely never fully recovered. Timing, timing, timing. As we progress through our 50s, instead of asking, how much can this grow? I think the wiser question becomes, how much uncertainty do I need? At this stage, investing should support your life, not dominate your thoughts or worries. Now, you may or may not have heard the acronym SWAN, and I'm not talking about the beautiful birds. So SWAN is something I love to live by when it comes to investing, especially now that I'm into my 50s. And to me, the best portfolios are SWANs. So what does SWAN stand for? It's an acronym. It stands for Sleep Well at Night. And I think we all want SWAN, right? Investing definitely can still be about the number and trying to increase it, but the focus on the amount of that increase needs to change as you cruise past 50. So instead, try and focus on enough. Ask these: will my investments provide enough income? Will my investments provide enough flexibility in life? Will my investments provide enough security? Because our real asset now isn't time in the market, it's time in our lives. Because we want to be having the time of our lives. Yeah. All right, coming to the end, so let's wrap it up and tie it with a bow. As we get into our 50s and older, the goal isn't to win the investing game. It's to make sure our money supports the life we've worked to build. Growth still matters, but peace of mind matters more. Now, please check out our next episode where we'll continue to focus on investing by discussing specific investing mistakes made after 50 and how to avoid them. So that will be episode 18. In the meantime, please give likes and subscribes to the Wise Lane so we can keep going strong on money, mindset, and modern living for the 50 plus crowd. Your support is greatly appreciated, and happy investing. I'm Scott Mullet. Thanks for watching.